3 vehicles, 2,680 horsepower, 2,972 pound-foot of torque. It sounds like a hypercar comparison, at least until you get to the combined weight, 11.5 tons. The Tesla Cybertruck Beast, the GMC Hummer EV3X, and Rivian's toty-winning R1T quad motor. These are the electric supertrucks, each one capable of towing a Dodge Charger Hellcat to the dragstrip, kicking its ass in the quarter mile, then towing it home. Provided track and home aren't too far apart, that is. How best to compare these animals? These 3 trucks represent outrageous, over-the-top fun, so we decided to test them the way we'd test supercars, with a no-holds-barred handling run on some of our favorite roads. We'd meet in Westlake Village, California, then hop on the 101 freeway for a look-see at each truck's automated driving features. Exit on Canaan Road, ride its big, fast sweepers through the hills and down to the ocean, then cruise west on Pacific Coast Highway. We'd turn inland on Route 23 Decker Canyon Road, one of the tightest and most challenging of Malibu's canyon raceways. Cross Mulholland, drop down through one last set of twisties back to Westlake, then swap trucks and repeat. Then, if no one dies, have lunch and pick a winner. If this sounds like a ridiculously stupid exercise in ridiculous stupidity, good, you're starting to understand what these trucks are all about. Let us quickly introduce our contestants. Tesla is represented by the 3-motor, 845 horsepower, $99,990 Beast version of the inimitable Cybertruck, loaned to us by Out of Spec. Our test truck was a Foundation Series model, which upped the as-tested price to $119,990. The 3-motor, 1,000 horsepower Hummer EV3X is nearly as expensive, with a short list of options including a $9,995 extended range battery, bringing its $106,945 base price up to $118,480. By comparison, the 4-motor, 835 horsepower Rivian is a bargain, $87,000 for starters and $93,000 as it showed up to our comparison. We spent only a few minutes crawling around our competitors. We've already published our overall impressions: Tesla Cybertruck, Rivian R1T, Hummer EV pickup, if you need a refresher. We had 2,700 electric horsepower and some incredible roads waiting for us, and we were ready to drive. The Tesla was easily the most intimidating because of its steer-by-wire system. For those unfamiliar, the Cybertruck's rectangular wheel rotates just 0.9 turns lock-to-lock, with the actual steering response, from all 4 wheels, varying with driving conditions. Around town, we found the steering worked intuitively in all but low-speed parking lot turns, where the quickening of the ratio plus the lack of visibility to the sides meant we struggled to avoid clipping corners. Out on Canaan's fast curves, the Cybertruck felt competent and confident, but our concern was how the steering would work on Decker Canyon's sharp twisties. Given that it was released by the same company who gave us the misleadingly named and fault-prone, though improving, full self-driving, we had good reason for concern. Turns out steering wasn't the Cybertruck's problem, or at least not its biggest one. Sure, the steering felt a little funky, but it was, usually, predictable enough for fast driving, fast being the operative word, because the Tesla is the quickest truck here. Whether or not beast mode is engaged, it has the same point-and-squirt power as the Rivian. Ramp up the speed, though, and the beast falls apart. The grip disappears as if someone threw a switch. The steering loses its predictability in tight corners. The regenerative braking is good, but the friction brakes are terrible, with a long-travel pedal that feels like it'll never grab the discs. We did discover a useful hack for a tight turn: turn the steering yoke hard to the stop and let the understeering front tires scrub off speed while the rears point the truck in the right direction. While we made excellent progress in the Cyber Beast, achieving a pace we'd never expect from a pickup truck, we still felt like we could never get into a rhythm. The Cybertruck is a lot like the head of the company that makes it. One can never be entirely sure what it will do next. Contrast that with the Rivian, which filled us with a sense of disbelief. How can a 3.5-ton mother-loving pickup truck drive so damn well? We know the answer, of course, because there's a lot going on under the Rivian skin: four-motor drive, and the instant torque vectoring such a setup provides, a fancy cross-linked hydraulic suspension that keeps the contact patches on the ground, and of course a decent set of relatively low-profile street tires, which provide grip and response at the expense of ride quality. Even with that knowledge, not to mention a year of living with an R1T, its raw skill filled us with wonder. The Rivian is the hypercar of this group. We made stunningly quick progress through Decker Canyon, rocketing from corner to corner and mastering each turn in a way we never imagined a pickup truck could. The steering has great feel, precision, and predictability. The chassis has the poise and control of a ballet dancer. The friction brakes are the best here, which we know because we found ourselves outside the bounds of what the regenerative brake could do, not because there's a problem with the system but because we were driving so damn fast. One of the judges likened the R1T to a Range Rover Sport SVR, and that's as good a comparison as any. The Rivian is the best handling truck here by such a large margin it's barely a competition. Tesla Cybertruck beast, is it just a novelty? After much back and forth, we put the Tesla Cybertruck in third place. Its polarizing styling makes it seem like a one-trick pony, which is a shame, because it really isn't. The technology here has some great potential, particularly the steer-by-wire system, which is quite artfully done but needs further development. It's the quickest truck here by far despite being down on power compared to the others, and on motor count compared to the Rivian, and it has the biggest bed with the highest payload. Compared to other Tesla models, its interior feels more like sci-fi whimsy and less like cost-cutting minimalism. The Cybertruck really does feel like a pickup from the future. Still, it struggles to hide its shortcomings. The Tesla's range is the shortest here, and its unimpressive turning circle means it doesn't put its four-wheel steering to good use the way the Hummer does. The driving experience never really gels like it does in the Rivian. We know Tesla's autopilot doesn't work as well as GM's Super Cruise, and don't get us started on so-called FSD, but we couldn't even try it on the Cybertruck because Tesla hasn't finished writing the software. And just a few days with the Tesla showed us that stainless steel body is going to be an absolute nightmare to live with. You can't use hot water to clean it, fingerprints multiply like lecherous rabbits, and you must immediately clean off any bugs on the body panels to avoid damaging the finish. Sure, the Tesla is arguably the most novel truck here, but once the novelty wears off, what do you have? Tesla fanatics will no doubt treasure the beast, but it feels to us like the Christmas present we'll tire of most quickly. Rivian R1T. Who can deny excellence? No one can deny the pure technological superiority of the Rivian. It isn't the quickest on paper, but it sure as hell feels like it in the curves. The Rivian delivers a hypercar-like driving experience, plus we know from experience it tows and hauls better than its rivals even though its payload trails the Tesla. If only Rivian made a long-bed version, it'd be the ideal work truck. Okay, so maybe Rivian doesn't do the truck of the future thing as well as Tesla. The R1T's goofy wide-eyed stare makes it look more like an extra in the Star Wars cantina than a vehicle out of the next Blade Runner movie. And compared to the Hummer, the Rivian really could stand to relax and let its hair down a little. Still, no vehicle here demonstrates the raw ability of an electric powertrain like the Rivian. Among three awesome super trucks, we use that adjective very deliberately, as all three truly generate awe. The Rivian R1T is by far the most awesome, so it comes away with first place in our comparison test. It really is a super truck.